Dragons, a creature that is common in almost every fantasy world in fiction. From movies to series and even animation, because we just love to see them. Large, majestic creatures who can fly and breathe fire. Isn't it a treat to your eyes whenever they appear on the screen? But why is that? Why do we just love watching dragons in every form of fantasy fiction? To understand that, we will have to travel in time. This is the first ever live action dragon. Appeared in a German silent movie all the way back in 1924, way before dragons was created by CGI. This was a mechanically operated practical puppet who could breathe smoke, spit fire and bleed, just like the dragons we see today. But this dragon is nothing compared to this. This is the latest depiction of the dragons we all love to see in House of the Dragon. When I was watching the latest season of the show, every time a dragon appeared on the screen, I felt a sense of hype inside me. No matter what they were doing, from just flying in the sky above the clouds to burning an entire army while everyone on the ground just stood there thinking, yep, we are probably screwed. Dragons have always been a cheat code to attract people to watch a show or movies. Put one on the screen, give it wings, make it... and boom, we can't look away. And the strangest thing is that dragons can make us feel completely different emotions depending on how they are shown. Like in How to Train Your Dragon, Toothless is almost shown as this cute, reliable friend that we just cannot help ourselves but to root for, to this giant monstrosity known as Vhagar in House of the Dragon that literally everyone in the show fears. And she's so powerful that if she appears in any battle, the battle is already ended. But we just can't help ourselves to be fascinated by this creature. And after so many depictions of dragons throughout hundreds of movies, shows, books and games, we are still not tired of them. And it's been like that for a long time. In fact, for a very long time. In 3000 BCE, the ancient Chinese depicted dragons almost as these heavenly beings of the folklore to ancient Egyptians, describing them as chaotic serpent monsters residing in the oceans. And what the world of fiction did is took these entities and turned them into entertainment. Because the thing about humans is that we are always fascinated by something that we cannot comprehend, something that can be dangerous. And that is a pretty addictive combination. But there's another reason dragons work so well. Scale. Hollywood has gotten really good at making things look big through the use of modern CGI, of course. But dragons are different. When we see something like Vhagar, he looks like something that shouldn't fit inside the world. And that's exactly why he's so impressive. It's the exact reason why the Jurassic Park movies are so popular and why they just keep making them.
What the hell is even that?
Because dinosaurs in Jurassic Park make humans look tiny. Dragons use the same trick, except they are cooler. Because they can fly, breathe fire, and destroy castles in a blink of an eye. This ridiculous amount of power in one creature have a strange effect on human fascination with things that makes us feel small. It's the same reason people climb Mount Everest or ride massive waves in the ocean. There's something so exciting about realizing that we are not the biggest in the world. Dragons gives us that feeling instantly that can only be felt when you're looking at something this majestic. And it's even greater when they fight each other. The dragon itself becomes an event. Whenever one appears, the entire scene changes. At that point, it doesn't matter if you have a big army or capable soldiers. It only takes one
Dracarys.
to finish it all in a single moment. Now here's where dragons get really interesting, because deep down, we don't just want to watch dragons destroy things. Part of us wants to control one. I mean, while watching these movies or series, we've all at least once wished that we would have had an entity like this under our control. But that's the fantasy. Dragons represents power without limits, and humans have always been fascinated by that. We see it with superheroes like Superman or characters like Darth Vader. But dragons take that fantasy to another another level because there's something primal about riding a giant creature through the sky. The best example of this in How to Train Your Dragon. In the starting of the movie, when Hiccup gets Toothless, he experiences something humans normally can't ever experience. Flying, without any airplane or machine, just him and a creature that trusts him. That's why flying scenes are so satisfying. For a few minutes, you aren't just watching a dragon and its rider fly. You feel like you're flying with him. The camera moves, the music rises, the clouds passes underneath, and your brain gets to experience something it can never actually do. That's the power of fantasy. It's not about believing dragons are real. It's about temporarily believing anything is possible and that these giant monsters don't always have to be scary. Because if they were, we probably wouldn't love them as much as we do. Hiccup is flying on a giant predator with sharp teeth and ability to destroy things. But then Hiccup looks like this.
Enemies again locked in combat to the bitter.
And suddenly we feel a bond to this creature. The dragon didn't change. What happened is that our relationship with the dragon changed. That's one of the most powerful tricks movies use. They take something that should scare us and makes us care about it. At first, Toothless is mysterious. He is dangerous. But then he's loyal. And eventually, he becomes family. It's two creatures that don't understand each other slowly learn to trust each other. And that's something almost everyone understands. As humans, we want connection. We want something that chooses us. We are just built that way. It's like having a dog that can fly and shoot plasma blasts. Weird analogy, I know, but that's exactly what it is. But there's one last thing that makes dragons so interesting. They can't completely be unstoppable. If a dragon could never lose, ever, there would be no tension. And tension is what makes any story good. That's why the best dragon stories give them weaknesses. They can be difficult to control or vulnerable when they are young. Like in the early season of Game of Thrones, where Daenerys' dragons are small and not as dangerous. They can't breathe fire, they cannot fly that high. They are almost a liability. Kids that Daenerys have to look after. That's what makes Daenerys' relationship with the dragons way more complicated. Because at that point, when the dragons grow up, they aren't just helping her. They almost look at her as their protector, as their mother, rather than it being the other way around. And with that, the dragons becomes more than a monster. It becomes a symbol of freedom, of power, and sometimes the part of ourselves that we don't know how to control. So maybe the biggest reason we love dragon isn't actually because they are realistic. It's because they are the exact opposite. They are impossible. For once, they can destroy a castle and then make us say, they can terrify an entire army and makes us wish we could ride one few minutes later. That's why dragons have survived for thousands of years. And they always will. Because every generation gets to create their own version. From Lord of the Rings to How to Train Your Dragon to Game of Thrones. They are not just one thing. They are whatever the story needs them to be. And that's why every time a movie or a series suddenly shows a shadow moving across the sky, we already know what's coming. And no matter how many times we have seen them before, we still look. Because somewhere in our brain, there's still a little kid wondering, what if dragons were actually real?